Pope Francis has made history as the first pope to visit a country in the Arabian Peninsula.
The world is becoming increasingly dangerous, and most people are still in the dark about it. Do you, too, know what's going on right now? Okay, let's help you a bit. The clue is not far-fetched. It is still in Rome. Think about it. Why would a whole Christian body want to unite with all religions against what the Bible says? Even if that would happen, why should it be the Pope? Doesn't this request by Pope Francis fit more to the description of the one who will prepare the way for the Antichrist? Are we not already leaning toward the time? In this video, we'll discuss this alarming and trending world issue. Keep watching for complete details. Conversant with the end of days revelation in the Bible, you should know about the coming Antichrist who is poised to take over the world from an already made united religion. Among the chapters that Lucidity explain, this is Revelation 13 and Revelation 17. Both of these two chapters have brilliant descriptions of the coming Antichrist. They all agree that he will start by uniting all of us in the world under one banner. That is, all religions will be united and made one. Since this has been said over and over on altars for ages, we have begun to take it for granted. But we hate to break it to you, but the recent happening says we better take a second look. It is happening fast. Ask no more questions because we've got you covered. On November 11, 2022, the new Pope, Pope Francis, while in Bahrain, a country that is majority made of Muslims, about 80.6% according to Wikipedia, proposed again that all religions be unified under one banner. As stated by many, his underlying purpose is to allow for easy movement for people who want to convert from Islam to Christianity in the region. While we can be sure that the freedom of religion is good, and we can agree that the state should not be concerned about the religion of citizens as long as this does not hinder anyone, we cannot be so sure of the intent of Pope Francis for actually calling for the unification of all religions instead of reinforcing freedom of religion. Something seems fishy here. Do you agree? Jesus said in John chapter 14 verse 6 that He is the way, the truth, and the life, and no one goes to the Father except through Him. This is what defines Christianity, especially among its foremost leaders. And Pope Francis, being the foremost of the foremost one, is more akin to think he can never depart from that tradition. But that would not be the case, as he is not only the most prominent activist seeking the unification of all religions, but also the most important person working on it. To a certain extent, he claims he's doing it for world peace. But one is moved to ask whether world peace could not be achieved without uniting all religions together. At least given the available evidence we have right now, there is more peace among religions worldwide than before, and we know that without being united. Why can't this be studied well and used to make future peace a reality? This action by His Lordship is directly against God, and many are accepting it, apart from the fact that we don't know yet whether this would stop what they even wanted to. Intolerance and unnecessary killing. This is an example of a great delusion that the Bible said would be sent on the believer in the end time. Furthermore, what tells him that because almost all of these religions are Abrahamic in nature, they are all true? We can be sure of all things in the world. All things cannot be true, especially when we have many others. This, in essence, shows that Pope Francis trying to join all religions together is creating fusion that is against the will of God. The Bible made it clear in the book of Revelation that the Antichrist and its way preparer will adopt this tactic. They will follow a particular religious belief in the demonstration, but disobey it in practicality. Apart from this, there is also the question of free will. The Bible, through diverse stories such as that of Adam and Eve, has proven to us that God has given us free will, and it is this free will that makes us choose any religion or belief system that we deem fit. If God had wanted mechanized people dogmatically following Him, He would have created us like robots, who will follow just one religion and not know how to unfollow it. But God, through His predestined order, created men free to choose. Immediately, a unified religious body is a house in one place, such as the Abrahamic House Covenant that will be completed in 2023, and that order will be destabilized. A great revolt against God? Yes, it is not different from what happened in the Tower of Babel, where people, contrary to what God predestined, began to build a tower that would reach Him. Only one person will do something more akin to this: the Antichrist. As pointed out earlier, he will destabilize God's order in such a way that people will not notice or be able to figure out, so that they will not stop following him, given that the goal of the Antichrist is actually to bring more people alongside him. He must not lose popularity. Because of this, the Antichrist needs unification between two great leaders. As we can see, Pope Francis and Sheikh Ahmad el-Tayyab, a Grand Islam of Sunni Muslims, signed a joint declaration titled "A Document on Human Fraternity for World Peace and Living Together" during the Pope's visit to the United Arab Emirates, the second hotbed of Islam after Saudi Arabia. In early February 2019, he said he was particularly concerned about the freedom of religion for the local Christians who cannot convert from Islam to Christianity. As we have pointed out earlier, this does not, in any essence, warrant a unification. Using common sense, the Islamic world is not likely to agree. He has been able to rise above the smaller goal of making the life of converts easier and focus on the larger goal of making a united community across the globe. What a giant step! For example, world leaders are urged to work tirelessly to spread the culture of tolerance and living together in peace, to intervene as soon as possible to stop the killing of innocent people, and to put an end to wars, conflicts, environmental deterioration, and the moral and cultural decline that the world is presently experiencing. The Declaration condemns all practices that endanger life, including genocide, terrorism, forced relocation, human trafficking, abortion, and euthanasia. Based on that information, among the most prominent reasons of the current world's crises are the numbed human conscience, a distancing from religious values, and a pervasive individualism coupled by materialistic ideas. But beware, the Antichrist or his way preparer is supposed to do everything at a time. The waybearer is supposed to start little by little, in such a way that the people might not notice until he unites everything, takes over it, and then the reign of the Antichrist will begin. It is important to note that the document does not advocate for a one-world religion, but rather declares that God, in His wisdom, wills pluralism and diversity of religions, color, sex, race, and language. We can't be sure, even as many Catholic scholars say, that this statement simply means that the existence of different religions falls under God's permissive will and shows the inherent desire of humans to know God and nothing more. Well, their actions do not show it. Buttressing this fact in the political climate is what happened early this year in February 2022. Statements supporting human fraternity were released by the Grand Imam, Joe Biden, and Pope Francis simultaneously. Of course, these messages of peace and unity are how we should live, because that is how those who follow Jesus live. Love your neighbor as yourself, and love your enemies as yourself. However, little to nothing has been said about the gospel here. To be clear, we all want peace, but while peace is occurring, a Christian must not forget the greatest goal given to him by his Lord: to win men for Christ. But what instead are we missing? The preaching of human brotherhood. Is that the message of Christ? No and yes. Christ unmistakably wants peace, but He never preached that we should trade it for the gospel of salvation He brought. Christ knows that both His gospel and peace can mutually coexist. This is the gospel that says all men should believe in Him. This is why the book of Timothy is important here. 2 Timothy chapter 4, verse 3 and 4, which in paraphrase says that the people will give themselves to false doctrines, and false doctrines don't need to be false. They just need to look like the truth. In most cases, it will be sensible. As we can see here, it's sensible too, that we should be at peace with our neighbors, but it is not biblical to sacrifice the real gospel for it. Judging by the current happenings and many more events in the world, there seems to be little doubt about the coming Antichrist. As we know, the Bible never said the Antichrist way preparer would not come from the church. In fact, some biblical scholars believe that the way to prepare for the Antichrist will come from within. He will claim to be working for Christendom and the world. He will have a political power handy. If we look at all these features, they fit Pope Francis perfectly. He's by far the leader of the largest Christian body in the world right now. Most global political leaders respect him and see him as somebody worthy of emulation, which is called power in the global sense. Or, if you wish to see a demonstration of power, mobilize a group of people enough to conquer the papal city within a day. Then you will see soldiers and many people worldwide taking up arms against you. The truth is actually that the Pope is powerful. And that's it for this video. Is this not enough to justify that Pope Francis might be the last Pope? If he were, what would it mean for you and us? Can we use anything to stop the ascendancy of the Antichrist? What is the best way to get ready for his arrival? And how do you imagine the world will look when he takes over? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. Of course, I'll bet you don't want to forget, click the subscribe button to see more videos like this, and click the bell to get notified as soon as we release new videos. Thanks for watching.